I want to show you what I do with vetiver in the kitchen garden. I have a reasonably large kitchen garden that grows a range of vegetables for the house. And whilst I mulch with vetiver, I also grow vetiver inside the garden beds themselves. Traditionally, vetiver is used as a hedge, but because of its impact on microbiology and also for water uptake, I'm using vetiver as a major species in the garden beds. What I'm doing is I'm locating vetiver clumps 90 centimetres away from each other. From what I've seen in research in terms of clay pot irrigation, that's not a bad distance for my sorts of soil. So I locate it roughly around the garden in various strategic spots, and then plant my vegetables and herbs in the spaces between. It looks so green here primarily because I'm using a very invasive green mulch, scurvy weed, which I just pour and drop. But you can see how the effect works with a marriage with the vetiver. In some situations, I purposely plant a vegetable directly next to the vetiver, as in the case of tomatoes. You have a look here, it's a bit straggly in places. I've grown tomato next to the vetiver clump so that the tomato, when it grows, uses the vetiver clump as a trellis to rest on. Same over here. I mean, there's a vetiver somewhere in there too. That seems to work. I'm very pleased with it. You cannot see the structural layout as so easily with all this greenery imposing itself into the image. But the strategic placement of vetiver, 90 centimetres apart from one another, seems to work for me. And really, with the vetiver as a mulch and these plants placed so, I don't have much of an issue with keeping the moisture up. The garden seems to take care of itself. And of course the other advantage, I'm growing my own mulch. I just have to cut it and drop it. So it's a sort of self-sustaining garden at the moment built around vetiver. Originally I planted vetiver hedges around the garden beds, but the problem with that was that the hedges were at some distance from the plants I wanted to facilitate growing. Right? So I thought, well, if Muhammad won't come to the mountain, I'll take the mountain to Muhammad, so to speak. So that's what I've got here. I'm growing vetiver as a strategic plant in amongst the vegetables, and planting vegetables directly next to the vetiver and in between the vetiver clumps. And it's a very effective way to grow your food for your kitchen table.